All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. This is gonna be a pretty exciting video. Behind me is my old MR2. If you're a real OG subscriber to the channel, you may recognize this car. So the new owner has been kind enough to bring the car out for this video. Now, traditionally, when you think of an MR2 and the community of people who would buy and modify these cars like 10 years ago, what I would think of is crazy body kits. We all remember that Petrolicious video. I'll put a clip in right now.
When you wash the car, you tend to discover it's so curvy.
You know, the side snorkels, loud blow-off valves, just obnoxious mid-2000s style coming off of the SW20. Now, 10 years later, it's changed a little bit, and today what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into engine swaps. So many people are doing some insane things with this chassis, some good, some questionable, and some downright just scary, obnoxious, whatever you wanna say. And we're gonna see why they're doing that, why people engine swap these cars so often, and what's missing from the factory. Why did they take out the 3S GTE? So let's get into it. Let's go for a quick drive. I'm so excited in the SW20 Turbo and see what it's all about. Why would anyone want to engine swap a Toyota MR2? Okay, this one behind me, this is a 1994 example. I imported this car from Japan a number of years ago. It's a hardtop model. It's turbo, it's everything you want. It was low mileage at the time, and as you guys can see, the new owner actually did these nice clear corners, but other than that, and a few other little things, it's very close to factory, including that 3S GTE. Have you guys ever sold a car and then come back to revisit it and see it 2 years later? It's a very strange experience, but this is the benefit of you know, selling a car to someone who is going to take care of it, and it's always good. You know, the community here, especially in Vancouver, BC MR2, incredibly helpful, and it's a really tight-knit local community. So, as you guys can see, if you haven't ever seen an SW20 engine bay, transverse mounted, transaxle 5-speed in the back here. So it's realistically what this is like a front-wheel drive car, but they just like they flipped it so it's behind you. What people have done in the past with SW20s, really popular engine swaps, especially you guys, 1320 video or any of those channels that post the real high horsepower SW20s, they're all running Honda engines. They're all running either K20s or K24s with big fat turbos on them. And the reason why they're able to do this is because the trunk here, when you open up the trunk, there's a huge amount of space. So if you really want to go, I don't know, let's say water meth injection or a big intercooler versus the stock side mount, what you can do is you can drill holes and then reroute all that intercooler piping to take up your trunk, essentially. Oh, this is so weird. Okay, you guys, SW20 MR2. Thank you, Kamal, for allowing me to drive your car. Love this car so much. Why did I sell this thing? This dual A-pillar gauge pod is still not bolted onto anything. It's running a billet CT20B, so the factory turbo, but billet internals, slightly bigger compressor wheel, about 15 PSI. We'll see here in a second. But it's running, at least last I touched it, 286 horsepower at the wheels, and about 250 pound-feet of torque at the wheels. There are a number of things that make this car so desirable to swap in engines. Of course, most notably, Honda K-Series engines for big boost and big power. First off is weight distribution. So in a drag type setup, or in a car that you want to embarrass other less fortunate vehicles on the road with less grip, this is great. It's kind of the 911 mentality, right? All of the weight in this car is over the rear axles. So what you get is a car that squats down, rear wheel drive of course, and the rear gets all the grip. So traction is never really a problem, and I'm sure some of you guys have seen very scary videos that make me sweat of MR2s doing wheelies at the drag strip because there is no weight really over the front wheels. What also makes them great for engine swaps is the fact that, first off, they're still cheap. It's a Toyota, it's incredibly reliable. The factory 3S GTE, however, and this is why people swap them, not that the 3S GTE is a bad engine. It's iron block, it can hold a lot of boost, but it is an iron block, so it's a little bit heavier. Not only are there Honda engine swaps that a lot of people do, our friend Russ, I drove his 2GR V6 supercharged MR2, so that's another engine swap that people do. So that's a V6, also transverse mounted. The 2GR was in a number of Toyota products, the RAV4 and otherwise. It's a basic pedestrian 3.5 liter V6. It's got, you know, incredibly flat torque curve. Effectively, if you want to transform your SW20 MR2 into a budget Lotus Evora, that's the swap you do. And then, and this is where things get weird, people have begun to swap V8s into these cars. That is, in my mind, that is like the holy grail of engine swaps in MR2s, because if you look at this car, this is essentially like a small mini supercar. If we walk over here, we can kind of see the side of it a little bit better. It's a mini supercar. It's a baby Ferrari, or at least that's what, you know, that's what the MR2 owners would like to tell you. It's the poor man's Ferrari, okay? It's an aspiring man's Ferrari. K-swap the world. I know, I've heard you guys. I've heard it all before. It's not my cup of tea, but then again, I have to reserve judgment until I actually drive one of these cars because I've never driven a K-swapped MR2. But all of the fastest MR2s, yeah, they're all K-swapped. But not for long. Not for long. Let's dive in to some engine swaps. So, the most sought after engine that I've seen that people have been trying to swap into the SW20 chassis has been the infamous 4.2 liter Audi V8. It's an aluminum block, small displacement, it's compact. It is basically a detuned version of what was in the first generation Audi R8. It was in the S4 and a number of other vehicles. We gotta start with Marty's V8 MR2. If you're in the MR2 community, you've probably heard of Marty's V8 MR2 swap project. It's a stretched SW20. He posted his first video back in March of 2017. 1 month ago, Marty, you finally got your SW20 running and driving. Round of applause, round of applause. That is some true dedication. I absolutely love it. In the first video Marty posted, his car was already stretched. It was already stretched, which seems like, whoa, man, why are you going to all this work? You know, that seems like a lot of work. And evidently, 5 years later, it turned out to be a ton of work to modify a car, essentially chopping it in half and then putting it back together and expecting to keep the same manufacturer level of rigidity and feel that you get from like OEM. You know, these cars go through millions of dollars and years of research and development that you're trying to extract out of your final custom project. So a quick few points about Marty's car. Has a 104-inch wheelbase. He does have, of course, the 4.2 liter Audi V8. So the one big caveat on Marty's build, and this just comes down to preference, it is an automatic transmission. He's using the 4.2 liter Tiptronic Audi auto transmission. And I get it. It looks like Marty's living a comfortable life wherever the heck he's at in the middle of America. Probably doesn't want leg cramps any longer. Another big thing to note here, what we can see when he lifts, he's done this really insane hatch here where he's basically attached the old, what would be the OEM trunk lid with a custom engine lid, and it all lifts up at once. He's running an M90 supercharger, Eaton supercharger. And he has completely deleted, as you guys can see, the firewall between the trunk and the engine bay. So this is interesting to note. It is mounted longitudinally, so it's no longer a transverse engine setup as a factory SW20 is, because they only have 4 cylinders. He's gone ahead and done a crazy custom job on the interior here. He's got light switches on the roof, blinking LEDs in the side view mirrors. I mean, this is why it's taken 5 years. This is a passion project. This is, I'm gonna have this car for the next, you know, for the rest of my life. And I'm gonna drive it and enjoy it and take joy and get joy out of showing people the amount of work and dedication that I've put into it. Wow, he's got motorized vents for cooling on the lid. That is pretty insane. Marty, your car is a work of art. I'd love to see it in person one day. I don't know where you live, but whenever I get down to the States again, it would be really cool to see this car. Okay, what's going on here? What? Okay. Marty, everything was going well. Everything was going well up until this moment. I do have to note the factory Audi wheels don't work well here, but that's subjective. That's my opinion. What's not my opinion is the surface area of which your brake pads are making contact with the rotor. 13.5-inch rotors, which he specifies, but as you guys can see, the surface area needs to match. Marty, you realize you're not getting more braking power because you're still running the factory calipers. These are Brembo covers here. That's a Brembo plastic cover. So automatic transmission and these brakes are the 2 things that kind of keep Marty's MR2 from me really falling in love with this car and this project. You might ask, why would you want to stretch an MR2? Where does that come from?
In 2015, a car called the MC8, the SARD MC8 MR2, was basically found after being lost for 20 years. So what the MC8 is a homologation car that was originally built as a street car for Le Mans. So Toyota actually raced the MR2 in Le Mans, and the MC8 is the road-going version of that race car. It's 40 millimeters longer, so it's a stretched chassis, and it has a 1UZ 4-liter V8 behind you with twin turbo. So in the race car, 600 horsepower. I'm not sure what the street car has, but there's the V8 for you.
And this car ran in Le Mans. Now, it didn't do very well. It didn't perform as expected. It was, in fact, near the back of the pack, and Toyota was very quick to sweep this under the rug. But the new owner actually does have an incredibly active Instagram. There's one MR2 I hope to see in person one day, one rare Toyota, it's this one. It's this one. There's only one of them. So Marty's car, in my mind, kind of takes a lot of inspiration from this car. Next, we have Mike's MR2, which also has been swapped with a 4.2 liter Audi V8. Now, this is a car that I've seen in person before. Not only have I seen it in person before, I've heard it, and I rode shotgun in it. Now, this was back in 2018. I'll put up some of the footage now that I found on my Instagram story. Mike lives in Calgary, Alberta. We're planning a shoot. I want to go and see this car again in person because it is still running and driving. But Mike's car, as far as I know, this is gonna be one of those like, oh, it's 1 of 100 in blue of this model year in manual made with this option. It's gonna be one of those. But as far as I know, Mike's MR2 was the world's first 4.2 liter V8 MR2, street legal, road legal, running and driving, all of that. Here's video from 2018. He had it running before this, but this is when I drove in it, not stretched, and with no chopped firewalls.
Yeah.
But here are some photos of what he did. So as you guys can see, basically he built his entire subframe by himself. He's using the Audi transaxle. Biggest difference is his is a manual. You know, he's been able to keep that grate where the factory exhaust goes, which is awesome. He has had to cut basically the trunk, the bottom of the trunk, but both firewalls seem to still be intact, which is huge. And again,
When you look at this car parked, you'd never know. That's the biggest thing for me. Unless you like squatted down by the exhaust and saw the subframe. If I was to build one, this is what I would build. So there's Mike's car. Scranton's Garage, this YouTube channel, Scranton's Garage, that I found. He has been swapping in, he's been attempting to swap in a 5.3 liter LS. I don't know too many details about your car, Scranton, I don't know what your name is, Scranton's Garage. From what I can tell on his channel, things aren't going well. He recently got suspension from our friend Bob Pham down in California, who infamously has the largest SW20 collection in the world, that I found at least. And it's slow progress for this car. Now, his car doesn't actually appear to be stretched at all, which I love. He's done, wow, that's kind of like a Testarossa look there. Cross between a Testarossa and a 12C rear end. That's really cool. And he has completely destroyed the firewall, and he's he's pushed the LS so like the belts are rubbing against your spine. I don't know what his seating position is going to be when this car is completed, assuming it does get completed, but there is a new kid on the block. If we look at the last couple of years on the internet, engine swaps, and people want to go fast, where are they looking? They're not looking at pistons. They're not looking to go to the gas pump. They're looking to Tesla swap. This is the new trend. In fact, it's dangerous for me to call it a trend. That's absolutely not the right word, because I don't see this being a trend. In fact, in the future, in 5-10 years from now, I see an incredible amount of Tesla swap kind of boutiques popping up and very specific niche garages Tesla swapping a very specific vehicle. So there are multiple people right now. There's a race going on, you guys. There's a race going on. As far as I know, no one successfully swapped a Tesla motor into and completed a running and driving SW20 MR2. So far, that hasn't been done. Let's indulge. Let's take a quick look at a Facebook post I came across on MR2OC on Facebook. This is the first one I saw, and then I started diving in and realized that, no, this is a race. There are 3 people that I know of right now doing this, and they're going at it. It just shows an SW20 upside down on a rotisserie, completely apart. So this is on the passenger side, inside the car of the firewall. Here, we're putting Tesla components. I'm not even gonna try to explain what I'm looking at here. I don't know, but it actually looks like it's being done pretty professionally. Whoa. So, I've never looked at the underside of a Tesla Model S or Model 3, but what it looks like to me is what this guy's done is basically taken the entire Tesla subframe with the factory motor mounts and just bolted it to the bottom of a, it looks like he's made his own subframe first and then bolted the Tesla subframe to that. So it's like a double subframe. Integrity, where is it? I don't know. I don't know much about fabrication, but you guys tell me in the comments whether that looks strong. It looks pretty strong to me. This build looks awesome, and I can't wait to see how it comes out. You are a legend for even attempting this. Yes. Oh my God. Okay. About 1,000 hours so far. Ready for some paint now. This guy, I don't think, has this guy slept? Is he sleeping at all? I feel like those first 1,000 hours were sprinting out of the gate, no sleep. This is exactly the kind of person that I would have guessed is Tesla swapping an MR2. Battery in. Again, all caps. Battery in. Like, how do you think he typed that out? Was that, like, no sleep, barely crawling up to his laptop? Or was that, 6 Red Bulls in, battery in? And that seems to be the end of the thread. December 3rd, 2021, the battery was in. Hux Racing. I don't have much experience with Hux Racing, or at all, no experience with Hux Racing, but they are Tesla swapping an MR2 as well. They have gone a completely different route. They're building motor mounts for a SW20 chassis for you to Tesla swap a motor into. Now they've gone what seems to be a cleaner direction here, and they are effectively using the factory SW20 motor mount points and just fabricating up some new components in order to mount the motors in there. It seems like they've saved a lot of weight versus this last one that we were just looking at, that Manic guy in his garage in all caps land. This looks really clean. I'm excited to see what Hux Racing does. And it seems like, I mean, this video was less than a month ago. To me, right now, they're winning. They're ahead of the game. Although, I just said that. That's not the case because I'm just noticing right now, this is only half an MR2. This is a rear clip of an MR2. As you guys can see, the garage door there. And then we have AF Fragola Design. This video I'm watching right now is actually him visiting Hux Racing. So this is how you win the race, you guys. This is how you win the race. You collaborate, you get ideas off one another, and you see where you went wrong, especially when it's something like this that to my knowledge has never been done before. But again, this is this is an MR2 clip. So there's his car. There's also another car. I'll pull up a photo right now that I found in a Facebook thread, basically. And this car, but apparently this car is running a Transverse LS4, and it's running a GM 4T60E Auto Trans, which is effectively out of cars like the Chevy Malibu and others. So it can handle the torque. It's got a big single turbo, as you can see. It looks legitimate to me. Apparently it's running 600 horsepower. I don't know too much about it, but I would love to know more about this car. If you know about this car, please give me a shout. I think it's inevitable that in the future, the fastest MR2s will no longer be K-swapped. Sorry, Honda guys. And that's just something you're gonna have to live with. But for now, you guys still have it. You guys still have it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What would you rather have? Hit the notification bell if you haven't already, subscribe, and we will see you very soon.